All right, Aaron, you can hit the red button.
Red button.
All right. Okay, party people. We're now getting ready to start the party. I said start the party. I spread it out a bit. It seemed like it'd be a cool young person thing to do.
Sounded like potty.
As a cool young person, I disagree.
I have to go back to my advisors and fire them. So this is TFcon 2019 1.3. This happens between TFcon 2019-1 and the newly announced TFcon 2019-2. So thank you all for coming out to this. I call this a lot of things. I call this you were just sitting there because the panel ended and you didn't know something was going to happen. You don't want to leave.
Our flights are late tomorrow.
Our flights are late tomorrow. Boy, howdy, am I still thinking about that dealer room thing. Even though dealer room's closed, maybe, just maybe, I'll catch them on the way out with their pallet and go like, hey, I'll buy that off you for $20 instead of 80.
Can I follow you?
No? You may not follow me? Well, if you can watch. This is officially called the Sunday Podcaster Roundtable because it's basically a bunch of Transformers podcasters sitting not around a table. We're actually in a line. It's like my little quiet myth of this entire convention is that we can't V the tables very easily. Because this one falls off the podium when I try. So we're all going to have to lean over a little bit. So we can all see, hi! Or actually, you know what we could do? I just realized we can move this. This table can stay here. We can V the chairs a little. I want to budge back just a bit, budge back a bit, budge back a bit more. Yeah, now we can see each other. All right, so we're going to go down the line of who's here. Who knows? Maybe other podcast folks will just show up. Maybe I did start pestering people going like, no, really, you can come to the thing. You can be late. It's fine. I'm desperate. First up, Yoshi. I pestered him and said, please, you can come to the thing. Because you're on time. What's up, Yoshi?
Hey, I'm Yoshi from the Transmissions Podcast. I hail from Seattle, so I left Emerald City Comic Con to come here, and now I'm here.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Actually, you got here days ago, but welcome.
Yeah.
You're probably about to leave.
Yeah, I am.
Welcome. Goodbye.
Bye.
Next over.
Hey, I'm Josh from the Figure Nights Theater podcast. I hail from Lake Ridge, Virginia, so I'm right around the corner from TFcon DC and very happy.
I'm Aaron, also from WTF at TFW, Indianapolis area is where I grew up. So I'm right in the middle of everything and wondering why it wasn't Chicago, Colin.
Is this Colin from Canadian Slag Podcast?
Never heard
of
it.
Is that fake?
Oh, yeah. Please continue. I'm doing upkeep.
I'm underscore Zeus from the Steel City Box podcast. I'd rather not say the exact city I live in, but I am from LA area.
My name is Seth. I'm also from the TFW from Northern California, and
I said. Hey, Chris.
I'm tweeting. What do you think I'm doing?
Okay. Twitter is very important. It's not like there's a bunch of people in the room.
Hi, I didn't mention before, I'm Chris, evangelist from TFW, 34M Canada. That's called ASL. Are you all, does anyone remember ASL?
Yeah.
No? Okay, yeah, you. Yeah, all right, that's all that matters. So we're going to start off by reminiscing a bit on the show. Before we do, we're going to ask our secret other podcast member, the collective known as you, whether or not you had a good time at TFcon. That always goes better on Sunday, because on Friday everyone's a clever Gus that doesn't alliterate, and they're all like, we're like, how's TFcon looking at you? And they're like, eh. Because everyone's a comedian. Although it is pretty funny. I love hearing a collective eh from up here. like from 30 different mouths, it's kind of like, Matt, could you give me one? All right, I'll ask later.
I believe the real TFcon.
I'm not disagreeing. We are all TFcon. So we're going to start off by talking about a moment of the show that made the show real special for us. And as a rule, we won't talk about duck tacos right away. That's a separate topic. So outside of duck tacos, a moment that made TFcon LA special for us. So I'll start by going last and pass over to Yoshi.
For me, it has to be all the G1 voice actors and writers here. Getting the chance to shake all of their hands, introducing myself, having a quick chat as they signed whatever. That was the highlight and also the most consuming aspect of my con this year. So yeah, I'm glad that we had the opportunity to do that. That was pretty amazing.
I think for me, it was quite surprisingly the panel with Meredith Scott, Sarah Peter-Durocher, and May Catt. I was just very surprised by how that panel turned out. I found it very fascinating and a lot of fun.
The surprise for me was getting to see guys like Eric Seahammer and Derek White again. It's been a while since we've seen some of those guys in the show, or even around, and getting to see how those guys are just doing with life again. Kind of been a drop off, and having it here, thankfully, it's like a 5-minute drive for a couple of them. Makes it really easy to go, how's life, friend?
One of the people I was hanging out with, as it turned out, was kind of friends with voice actor for Daniel from G1 Movie, so I got to hang out with him for a bit. That was a good thing.
Yeah, really similar to Aaron, like seeing Aaron again after all these years. Being the first convention I've been to about 5 years ago. Just seeing folks that I don't even know either Twitter or evangelist on the podcast, just talking to Discord or whatever, to be physically around other families. And meeting new people. Like one of the great things I think with these kind of situations is it's so easy to strike up a conversation with somebody new because you have that base common interest you can fall back on. Conversation is a little awkward to start. You just go, hey, what did you just buy? And that's awesome. I love that too. Roll from there, making it fun. It's always cool.
Yeah, social stuff is like I have a bunch of tied ones, so I'm trying to think of one that they didn't say it, but I don't want to downplay the social part. I talked to lots of folks I haven't talked to face-to-face very much before, and I like doing that. That's part of the fun of these things. You make connections, and when you talk to someone face-to-face, you actually remember to follow them on Twitter as opposed to, well, actually, I still forget to follow people on Twitter constantly, but that's besides the point. This is a little bit more shallow, but no one else said it. There's even more TCG going on this year than there was in Chicago, and I got to play some more Constructed. I got to see the nightmare of Wave 2 Metroplex. God. That thing suddenly becomes terrifying when you got green pips. So you just get the cards you want. That makes sense to like 3 of you, but it's all right. Also, I looked for a Headstrong in my spares box, and somehow I don't have one, and I'm really freaked out by that. I saw your sign. Does anyone have a TCG Headstrong? Because he needs one or he'll die. It says so on the sign. Okay, well, we're all covered. But yeah, the TCG play was super fun. Once again, like getting to play, not just playing the game, but playing with people who aren't in my local scene, and seeing more mindsets, more deck types, more etc. That was really fun too. And those were experiences. But what about physical items? What about the stuff we bought? Let's talk about what we got this week. Oh, I branded this whole podcast Roundtable. Oh, what's the transmissions one? There's a name for it, right?
Trips to the store.
What was our trip?
If you listen to the podcast,
Trips to the yeah.
I've recorded like 3 of them, but there's too many words in it. Listen. What we got this week technically is more words than trips to the store, but it rolls off my tongue more because of all the whoop. So trips to the store, what we got this week at this con. I'll start off because I've been pawning it off on everyone else. The main thing I got that I thought was really interesting that I've been hyped ever since Twitter is I actually went and got some of that soap.
He's finally going to figure out what it's for.
So one thing I realized, two things I realized. One thing I realized when I saw the soap thing is that I was like, oh yeah, soap, I know how that's made. And then in my brain, I just saw a little movie playing of how candles are made. And then I realized I have no idea how soap is made.
You don't watch Fight Club?
No.
You've never seen Fight Club?
I saw Citizen Kane.
Oh, Jesus.
What's funny is that like the folks making this reference Fight Club, and I just was like, yeah. And I was lying. But that was realization number one. I figured out some of that afterwards. Although someone told me that there's urine in soap. And then they said, I'm joking, that's old soap. That, but also apparently some old-timey soaps were actually made using a distillation of urine or pee.
What's urea?
Yes. Number two, however, is that, what was it? Now I forgot. Yes, number two, I haven't used a bar soap very much in years because I use liquid soap because I live in the future. So I bought this and then I was like, I don't know what to do with it. So I asked and they were like, well, you do that. And then
the whole body.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, just
What if you use it?
What?
It's not going to be cool anymore. So you just have to keep it.
So they explained how to make this look cool as long as possible. If you use soap, but you want it to keep looking like it did when you bought it, granted it'll shrink. But apparently let it dry, and not just let it dry, but put it on something where it's not just resting on the surface, but it's resting on like, a bunch of stuff so that it can drain off. For instance, on Yoshi's phone.
Right.
As you do.
I feel like the conversation of basic hygiene should have happened on Friday.
I was trying so hard.
We're mixing things up.
If you were here.
Yeah, if you were here, FYI. So apparently, if you did get the soap and you want it to look cool, but you want to use it, put it onto like some marbles or something in a dish soap thing. I didn't know any of it. I didn't know soap science. Also, these had different scents, which I didn't know. So I got the grapefruit because love that citrus. That citrus gives me life. And yeah, I got like one or two other things, but this is my little get. Oh yeah. Yoshi, what are you looking at?
So that's my Discord.
You can look. Okay.
But anything you do is captured on your live screen.
Can I type?
Yeah.
Okay. Keep going.
This is scary. So
He's just typing poop fart.
Oh, more still life.
I was in a unique situation in Chicago when they announced TFcon LA. I already had my 4-day passes for Emerald City. Yeah. No, dude, totally.
Okay.
Yeah. Hygiene.
Yeah.
When they announced that TFcon LA was happening, I already had my passes for Emerald City in Seattle. So this is happening at the same weekend. And I actually, honestly, already had set up my commissions for sketch covers because that's my big collection. There's about 8 Transformers comic book artists in Seattle right now, just working like crazy. So I had essentially 4 days worth of fun and art planned that I had to skim into 1.5 because you can't miss this many G1 people here. You just can't. If you're a fan, you can get here, which is what I did. So my budget said my budget was so much into all the art in Seattle and all the signatures here that I've got signatures and I've got a comic from Casey Collar that is not Transformers themed at all. That's where my money went. Yay.
I spent like the entire convention hunting a very specific thing and found it in like the last 5 minutes before the dealer room closed. And that thing,
Woo!
Was it Headstrong?
that thing was Cybertron Hotshot. It's my childhood. It makes me happy. It makes everyone else feel old.
I remember when I was on the internet after high school looking at the reveal of Exilian from Galaxy Force thinking, oh, cool, they made Hotshot blue. I feel very old, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Does it have its key?
Clean.
Is it, yeah. Oh, okay. I just want to make sure.
No, my stupid thing I got story. I got a couple of Iron Factory deals, but the real story is this guy. That's TFcon. And so Hasbro Pulse, when that went live, they had $10 deluxes. I got in on that finally, and it's been in processing for quite. You can touch it. It's okay. Yeah, over top of me, it's kind of scary. So I really dug Cog when he came out in Wave 1, and everybody that had both him and Cog were saying like, no, Cog is now garbage. And I was like, no, Cog couldn't be garbage because he's good. I can now say Cog's garbage, and I'm waiting for my other one to come in so I can have it.
I was very, very much looking to see that he had 6 guns. He does the other 2 on the back.
And he turns into a hand. He has a hand mode, which means that
8 guns.
Aaron is justified to own 2s, because you can't just have like 1 big hand if you could have 2 big hands.
No, he has 10 guns.
In fact, you should have 3 big
Missile
hands.
pods.
No, why is it called 6 gun?
Seth, why is your table just playing with toys during the podcast roundtable? Is that what we got this week as well?
I mean, I did get it, but that's not what I want to talk about. So, I mean, this is a fun story. So Saturday, I was walking around the dealer with a friend who couldn't be here because he had stuff to deal with at home now. So we were just walking around, and we had walked over to the toy arena, whatever it was, just to see if they had anything. They didn't. So we ended up going to like this little. The only way I can really describe it accurately is like a back alley table, like right behind there, and sitting in a Ziploc bag was a complete G2 briefcase, $80. So I spent $80 on a G2 briefcase. Woo! Yeah.
Calm down.
So sorry.
Okay, Seth, let's take a moment for yourself.
No. So the other podcast panel, we did I talked about some stuff I got at that point. After that, I grabbed MP 20 plus wheelchair, the Magic Cube strong guy, ID88 from Star Wars. Oh my God, I'm talking.
How?
Oh my God.
I'm gonna need you to turn it down, just a notch.
Then I just kind of got hooked on all the little guys, with all the third party little like style guys. I just decided to go on a tour, so I got like one from things is like to not afford, but did anyway. So I got a Water Pocket Time, Iron Factory Megatron. Actually, it's not really that. It's more masterpiece size, but the
Yeah. And how many people have already asked you for your detailed in-hand opinions?
Just this British guy. Who's been haranguing me about that Iron Factory Megatron for like 2 days. I'm like, I haven't bought it yet.
That's our token appearance from the Moonbase 2 podcast at TFcon USA in Canada. Shouts out to Andy. Keep messaging Seth.
No shouts out to Mike.
Nope, no shouts out to Mikey. He didn't get that podcast edited in time. So when I was walking around the bar talking about, I beat up children, everyone's just looking at me like I'm a maniac because they didn't hear the podcast. It's not out yet. It makes sense when you hear the
context. That's not a great statement.
No, listen, it makes sense.
Sure,
You, okay. No, I'm not going to go into it. I'm not the only one who beats up kids. What? No. That's, I am the only one that brags about it, but don't. It's bad. Don't beat up kids unless they're trying to start something. You got to defend yourself.
Do you realize how much you are commentating on current events?
Vaguely. I overheard a little bit while I was having my duck tacos today.
That's quackers.
Whoa. Okay, you got to calm down. You're typing poop, poop, fart in your Discord, claiming that you're Daryl. We're having fun. I was going to say something. Now I'm all askew in a kilter from all these accusations that I beat up children. Do do check out that Moonbase 2 podcast whenever it goes up. It was me and Mikey and Genevieve talking about IW Phase 3 stuff, or Phase 2 back-end stuff, Phase 3. It was fun. I think it's a patron-exclusive one, so wait until it's free, and then check it out. Sorry, Mikey. I can't help myself. So yeah, I think we all had a pretty good time here. And thus, I think we should start to figure out at least one of these things. We have stuff we want to give away to y'all. Oh, there's one thing I want to shout out first, though, because I realized because you're chilling out right here. This fellow who's going to die doesn't get strong arm.
It's right there.
Strong arm.
Oh,
maybe I'm trying to get him killed. I don't know. Aaron, we both got these, right?
Yes.
Yeah. We did this TCG panel.
Thing, strong arms, right here.
We got a whole pack of TCG strong arms, unreleased from Wave 4, right here. Sorry, Wave 40. But we got these cool damage counters for the game, because this game uses damage counters. People use dice. Think about dice. You should do that, and then the dice rolls away, and you're like, oh, what was my health at? I don't remember. The thing that I was surprised by when I busted these out is they're grippy on the bottom, right? Yeah, Plastidip?
Yeah.
Is that what it is? I always wonder what that stuff is like. Yeah, like they stick.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
Serious business.
Yeah. I've seen Plastidip at Home Hardware whenever I go there to buy craft supplies for projects I never do. And I see Plastidip and I'm like, that seems like future stuff. Like I could just like spray grippy things on stuff. I could like dip things to make handles. But it's all like $1 more than I want to pay, so I just leave it alone. But I'm real close. Because I've been thinking like, what if I just start like putting that on everything? Like maybe I'll never fall down. All right, just friction everywhere. But yeah, we got stuff we'd like to give away. The problem is that like we don't have any kind of raffle tickets.
So there's going to be a fight.
Yeah. We do have an idea for some stuff, which doesn't involve a fight. If we incite violence, apparently that's an international incident because of me. So I'm
Just start whipping them into the audience.
ruining everything. Well, the paper bag.
Well, the paper bag, maybe if it gets to you, it's yours. Maybe, I'm not sure.
Yeah, we have little things in a paper bag, care of the David Sobolov table.
David Sobolov donated a bunch of bumblebees. Alfie got a big giant wine bag thing of death and doom, and then there was some of the stuff she wanted, and then some of it that she didn't, so she donated that. We have a...
Oh, there's a special story behind that one.
Behind this one?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I
that
was
is
gonna
a...
say what it was, and then you jumped right on top.
This is a special story. I have to... You can
Okay.
intro this one here.
Okay. Is this nothing but commons?
No, it is commons, uncommons, and apparently one rare. Right? Well, okay, shrug. But it's just a big stack of character cards.
So is this going to be the thing that I aim for the back of the room with?
That's who put it in there. If you want to just throw it back into my guess. We should probably dole those out in some kind of meaningful order.
You can line,
you know what?
There's probably enough here you can line up and each person get one.
Yeah, I think everyone in the room is going to leave with something, is what I'm thinking.
Because we like you. Most of you.
Y'all are the folks who actually came to the thing that's after the closing ceremonies, no questions asked, as though that's normal. So I want to thank you all for your good faith. The door will lock if any of you try to leave. Because
You're all dealing with something that might be a character source.
I do really need a Transformers TCG Super Rare Windblade, and we're going to shake all of you down to like, what? Well, no, he doesn't want to give me his, and I think he could take me, so I don't want to start that yet. He's the one where I need him to go for the door, and I run up behind him with the brick of cards. Yeah, he's got movement speed. I've just got like...
But he has the crowd right now.
It's true, I could just say get him. No, don't. Oh, okay, we found our raffle tickets. Apparently,
They're in Jeremy's pocket.
Jeremy Dennis has them, lead of transmissions, who, you know, what... How many...
Whoa. Whoa.
I mean, tech lead.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Not emotional lead.
Thank you.
But, you know, among the many he's here. Among the many things Jeremy has done to us today is not provide a Zoom H6 that's connected to the sound system, because I don't know how to do that. He has the raffle tickets. He probably has the funny cheeses.
No, you can keep those.
No, we need those again.
No, we don't.
I don't have any funny stuff for us. All I had was I was at Walmart near here, and I thought, hey, it'd be funny if I get nuts again, because that was the thing. Who was here for nuts in Chicago, or would this have been fresh? This would have been fresh.
Yeah.
Now I'm double bummed. I forgot that.
Yeah.
So I found a
more people about your nut mouth.
yeah. You see, when you eat a lot of nuts, right? Like a whole ton of nuts, you get a reaction from like you get this kind of like mealy nut mouth. And then like I was talking about it off mic before the podcast roundtable last TFcon, and they were all giving me like the face. Did you send it to yourself in the mail? I don't think so. Go get yourself like Neely mutt mouth. Whatever. Anyway, I found a jar of nuts by a company called Superior Nut Company. And I was going to be all like, who would like some of my superior nuts? You know what? I didn't even eat the nuts here. It still worked.
Yeah.
All right, good job. But the story behind this is this starter set was donated to us by a kind Mr. Greg up here and Cypher Online. And the secret bonus surprise nestled within its rear crevice is this pack of cards in the wrong wrapper because I threw out the original wrapper before I thought of this. It's a Wave 1 pack of cards that I got for beating Aaron. It was the bounty that was on his head.
Have you retired now?
I opened it, and everything in it was terrible. So I'm donating it to this as well. So here you get a starter set, plus you get the Aaron bounty. The character's actually not terrible. It's just common, that's all. It's Flame War. Flame War's a great character. The rare is Agility of Bumblebee. It's not a very useful rare if you're not running a lot of Bumblebee.
But that deck has a Bumblebee.
That deck has a Bumblebee, so actually it's great. Everything in here is fantastic. Forget the first part of that. What else we got up here?
Is there, for that one, I was going to say we should at least put terms on it that will
Yeah.
give somebody that can use it.
Yeah, what I want to know is, because this game is old enough, right? It's 3 months.
Yeah. It's ancient game.
This is a very narrow criteria. Please be honest. Anyone here that would like to try this game out who hasn't already gotten into the cards, that could use a starter set, and would like some trash
Woo! We
nestled
see
in the back.
3 hands. Okay.
Oh,
4, 5.
4, 5 hands, 6.
6 hands.
Stop making this difficult.
Chris, hand me the counters. Your counters there.
There's 6 hands. Don't you have a
Yes,
D6?
I know what I'm going to do.
Okay.
Hand me the bag of counters.
Are you just going to throw it in the...
No.
Okay.
He's gonna draw.
I'm going to...
But is the number 6 in there?
No, the number 6 is not
Well,
in.
then someone's screwed then.
Yeah.
Relax.
He's gonna pull out 6 of them, and then he's gonna assign one to each of them, and then he's going to randomly pick one of the 6. Am I right?
Something close to that, yes.
You had no idea what you were doing, did you?
Me, I know exactly what I'm doing. Could the 6 of you that have your hands up, please come up to the stairs. Short straw version of thing, but I have numbers instead of straws.
This is why I like having Aaron on these podcast panels. You don't need to have a roll of paper raffle tickets when you've Jeremy, when you've got the mind of a helicopter scientist like Aaron. Aaron's a helicopter scientist.
Give me a problem, I find solution.
I just realized now, old man Tom, purple shirt brigadier here.
Well, that's the thing. Seth, we used to, but then it's like what is it, like Lord of the Flies, right? When left to our own devices, we realized that we were the monsters. That's why there's no more Nerf guns.
Is it a 2 or a 5? It works either way. Everybody else had 1s, so you get the 5s.
What did Aaron actually do? I wasn't paying attention.
All of them are the same number except for 1.
Oh,
Hey,
okay.
Here I come.
Bring it. Wait, no, go to eBay. I'd love to see you flip that for $2. It'll be great.
That's still 100% profit though.
Those are your chats.
So speaking of getting crazy, I still think we should just take these little bumblebees and just hurl them.
That was the plan.
Yes!
Before you were even here.
Yes!
What I'll say is don't throw them at people, throw them to people.
Chris, that's less fun.
Yeah, I'm just gonna throw them blindly.
There's more of them than you. If they think they're under attack, they're going to react in kind. And I'll just watch.
They're not animals, Chris.
Yeah, that's worse.
It's okay, I'm small. I think in tiny spaces, but it's tiny.
Yeah, it's a swarm. And you know what? It's like raptors in Jurassic Park. I bet all these folks can open door handles and whatnot.
No, but they're all bees, so it literally is a swarm.
Thanks for making sure everybody.
There's no way to Chris.
I don't understand.
Chris doesn't.
Oh, we have a question at the front.
I was going to say, this round wasn't for bees. My God.
Are any of you a god of the bees? Good.
No.
Are we? So are you moving into Chuck B's territory yet, or are you figuring out something for those cards?
Me? No,
Yeah.
I was just getting this out of the package that I thought was going to be a harder fight because it was very
Okay.
well packed.
Well, let's.
I'm trying to prepare to be ready. I figured this could be the end of the show to keep all the rubes in. All the listeners here, all the people, all these nice people. Not rubes. Why would anybody say rubes about these rubes?
Did you all think that the catchphrase of this panel was going to be careful, they'll turn on you? We're big into empowering the audience. If you look under your chairs, you'll find baseball bats, various implements.
But if you don't empower them, they'll turn on you.
Number 4. Do we want to dump out the paper bag and just get to popping some stuff out?
We can. Are there other topics to talk about other than keeping their attention?
Well, actually, I would really like to talk about one thing, I guess, before the chaos starts. Although it's a little bit centered to this side of the table. It's going to be half us talking about it, and maybe if Yoshi wants to show it off later.
Oh, yeah.
Did you guys see the Yoshi's thing he got?
Yeah.
You did? Okay, Yoshi, you got to tell him. He got the coolest commission I have ever seen in my entire life.
Oh, this thing.
And I think y'all will find it real cool, too, while we put him on the spot.
Well, it better be good after all that hype.
Yeah.
Very disappointing.
That's what she
That's
said.
good, and it's not good. That's the Holy Grail.
This is not the Holy Grail.
I did think of another topic after this that involves them with Holy Grails, so we're all good.
You want the long or the short?
Let's
We have
You
time.
just cut me off.
Yeah,
Okay.
you go.
I love Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
The reason I love Dungeons and Dragons is because every game that exists, from chess to tiddlywinks, I lose. But as a DM, I don't have to suffer that. So I am building a campaign for my current group where I have made this map. And when they find this map, they're going to learn it's a magical map. And through bullshittery and a black light, they're going to see all these hidden treasures throughout this entire map. This was some special ink I did to do this, and it took a lot of testing to find ink that really is invisible when you write it. There's no trace of it. And then I thought the night before I went to Seattle, to Emerald City, this would make a cool sketch cover. So I asked Brian Shear to draw me Mirage. And I don't know.
Right?
Come up here. You can't wait. Come up here. Come up here. You can't wait.
He will be around after we're done the panel while we're packing up if you want to get some close looks at what's about to happen. But I'm sure.
So for those of you who can't see it in the back, it's just a background. And then you need the special light to be able to see Mirage. Ow. Go to town.
Sorry, can we get a couple more high-pitched noises?
That is almost precisely how I sounded when he handed me the blacklight flashlight and I realized what was about to happen. He shows me this cover and I'm like, because he told me about this a day before. He was like, you have to see it in person.
Okay. Thank you for letting me play with that.
You're welcome.
He shows me this cover of a little empty field, and I'm like, well, that's kind of a long game for a simple joke about Mirage not being there, and it's a Mirage cover. And he's like, puts this thing in my hand, and I'm like, what's this for? Am I supposed to go?
You can see the hamster get on the wheel in his head and
It's like,
start to run.
I'm sitting there trying to think, how do I get polite about this? That's kind of a long. No, no, and I'm screaming in the bar at 2 a.m.
Now, the next obvious follow-up question is, how clean are our rooms here? Not only could I not find any evidence in our rooms, when I went back into my room for lunch, they were shampooing the hallway. So our rooms are very clean, legitimately.
Although I did imagine the idea of him walking in, checking in, and then just taking that out of his pocket, twirling it around a bit, just walking to the elevator while the floor manager is like, oh no. He's from one of those TV shows.
So a love of Dungeons and Dragons got me one of my most unique Transformers sketch covers. And that's the world in a nutshell.
Yeah, that is, I don't know how that's topped outside of him getting a sketch cover that turns into a robot. And I don't even know what that means. Maybe. Whoa. Pop-up, yes. You get like a cut pop-up thing where you're like, hey, it's a sketch cover of Mirage again. And I'm like, where's the invisible link? And there's nothing there. I'm like, what's happening? You pull on like the UPC code and Mirage goes like, I wanted to quickly ask, you don't have to be specific, but I'd asked a question on Friday, and I want to throw it out there again. Did anyone here at TFcon find their or one of their grails this year? Did anyone make it out big time? Oh. Well, that doesn't count. You don't put your hand up.
No card game for you, sir.
You know what? The door's unlocked for you. It's not. I'm being mean. I'm being facetiously mean. Well, congratulations, y'all. Now, one other question. Did anyone here have to spend triple digits to do it? Oh. Did anyone have to spend quadruple digits to do it? All right, so high rollers aren't in the... What's this? All right.
We're talking about Mouse. I saw that guy on Friday who said he was going to spend quadruple digits. He got a full victory saber seal.
Did he? Was that the same guy?
Same guy, yeah.
I saw a Victory Leo that looked like it was in a beat-up box for $200, and I was thinking about him, but he clearly made out better. That's incredible.
I mean, sure, you say that, but you could have bought that, and then you could have bought that $150 Star Saber at the Grail and had it for less.
Where was the Star Saber?
It was behind the Chosen Prime table.
Who looks there? That's like the back alley of the front of the dealer room.
I found G2 Bruticus in the back alley, so.
Yeah, I know. Where's the black light? I didn't even have to think of that one. That's my problem. So, do we want to? Anyone else have anything they really want to throw out at the top of the panel? We're gonna have a back of the panel too. Oh, up here.
When you asked, what's the? I just thought it was weird that we asked, like, did you get your grail? Well, what are the fucking
But didn't follow up the grails? Yeah, you got to be used to disappointment, Chris.
All right. I was gonna save it for the end, but we can do it now.
Yeah.
Okay. Yo! Hands up.
Hands up for grails.
You!
From the Masterpiece Black Convoy.
Masterpiece Black Convoy. There with the hat.
On my next one, last night, it was
Nice. Excellent.
and we were back,
It's a lot of grails.
Yeah, dude.
There's only one Holy Grail. That's the Holy Grail.
Have you not seen the Last Crusade?
Car skids.
Right.
All right, over here.
G1 Browning.
No, what? Nice. Where?
The guy that runs Rubber Fight Nets.
Nice. What was, if you don't mind, what was the cost on that?
I traded a lot of stuff.
Oh, okay. My
So
house.
dignity.
Soul. I'll pop back in front.
I won't call this a grail, but I will definitely call it a good find.
You got Jeffrey?
Jeffrey Prime.
Nice. I mean, not as special in Canada because we still have Toys R Us. Oh right, turn the room against you. Forgot. There with the hat.
Tony on topic, 112 Popeye.
I was this close. Down here in front. It was Starscream.
So you're a fan of Optimus Prime, is what you're saying?
He is. These are not mutually exclusive necessarily. Over there in the back. Yeah.
Yes.
So first, Beast Wars Trade Battles G-Lord, and two, Beast Wars Quick Strike.
Nice.
Ooh, nice. Quick Strike is like top tier. I like that toy.
And I got the animated Optimus Prime from the show.
Oh, sweet. Is that thing like tricky nowadays to find?
I think so. I
It's good to know. Over here.
I couldn't find Armada and Jetfire in the original colors, but I did get two Takara Overlords, so I could do that really dumb combined form.
Oh, with the
Just don't let it exist. Don't look directly at it. Only like peripheral vision. Sure. Do you have cotton gloves to go over your cotton gloves?
Going off of that, I saw someone apparently got a black Zarek during the show.
No.
And it sounds like they very much intend to transform it to robot mode.
Wow.
And that was the noise everyone
Does anybody
heard.
know why everybody else? Is there anybody unsure of why that noise was happening? So do you know why everybody's? Okay, so there's a thing from back in the day where anything that had gold plastic was very crumbly because the metallic flake they would put in it would degrade the plastic and pre-stress it. And black Zarek is really big and really rare and really gold.
And his feet are made of gold plastic.
So you go the way that you do with toys, and the arm just comes off. And it's not one of these like cool modern toys that like arm comes off, whatever. You just put it back on.
How dare you? You have your own system.
Yeah, but when you
Whoa! What were you saying? I thought that was his.
It's not even a break you can glue back together because the plastic crumbles.
Yeah.
yes, it literally turns to dust. Yes. And black Zarek is also very expensive because rare, Japanese, and suicidal.
Yeah, they call a mint and sealed box Black Zarek Schrodinger's transformer. Because as long as you don't open the box, it's not broken. But I'd swear I've heard, maybe you can confirm for me, I'd swear I've heard a story of someone who got a sealed one, cut the tape, pulled it out, and it was broken. Like that. The other thing I can't remember is if there's gold plastic in like the ratchet joints or not. I don't recall. Anyway, it's a terrifying figure that I want them to reissue entirely so it can exist on this physical plane again. Because it's got a cute, kind of like goofy head sculpt plopped on top of a Scorponok head. And he's got a trident. Anyway, we had two more hands up over here. Yeah, right here. Nice! Beast Wars Ravage under 100. What, like in chair mode too? That's solid. Those are my favorite deals, is the last 20 minutes. You're just walking through the dealer room, not able to give it up. And then you're like, wait, what? And then and especially when you do that, and the dealer's like, oh, I do not want to take anything. $5, please. Take the rest of it. So you had one more? Yeah, the big fancy thing. I remember trying to wear that thing once. Because their whole thing was like, it's a Matrix, you can put it on. Because they wanted SDCC to be full of people looking super cool with a toy box hanging around their neck. Does not look cool, unfortunately. I think I made video of me trying to look cool wearing that. I can't remember anymore. That was before I came to Toronto. Oh, I did?
Yeah, you said how you wanted to bring someone to your table.
Right.
Yeah.
I was trying to do like the whole like with this. Oh, you notice the Matrix I'm wearing? Yeah, I'm pretty cool. It's just figure jostling around on my chest. Seth.
If I could interject, what's the weirdest thing everybody saw? I'll start. Earlier today, I saw a woman buying 2 masterpiece hot rods / Rogers Primes at the same time. I felt like asking, "What are you doing? You need 3." That's what I saw you buying that.
Did you find out what was up?
No, she just bought 2, and then the kid was like, "I want this one," and she bought a masterpiece size plate on top of it. And then when she walked away, the guy went down. Just bought 2 of those.
Did he wait, or was she still standing?
No, she was out of your shop.
Okay. Would have been a big flex to just say that as soon as the money hits your hand.
Yeah.
A big snort.
As soon as
Like-
the credit card appeared, it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Like now that we're over
they're
this,
yours now, so it's your burden. But
I just got questions for you.
that's when that sign no refund automatically.
You just need a doink, like spring loaded out from under the table. I don't know. Let's starting from Seth and going onwards. Any other weird stuff?
Not anything weird that like a specific person did, but I thought that whole thing that Mastermind was doing with the penguins, little ice cubes, kind of weird. That I still don't entirely understand.
It was like a cool weird though. I bought a couple of those.
That sounds like you have a reason to defend it not being super
Yeah,
weird.
no, it was an interesting way to like raffle stuff, but then you also get the penguins. What's wrong with that?
I just didn't understand what the penguins were for. It's their mascot.
Yeah, that's if you look at Mastermind.
He said it's their mascot.
Their mascot.
Okay. Problem solved.
Yeah. So the weirdest thing that I saw was this guy that didn't understand what was going on with the penguins.
That's not in the dealer room. It's not allowed. It's in the dealer room. Seth said so.
Yeah. We're in the nation of laws.
So I saw two very, very weird things. The first one was less weird. It was.
That's a
No, I never saw those, and those weren't in the dealer room.
Okay. Wait, you never saw the duck tacos?
I saw them on a menu, but I did not see like a physical taco.
What? Okay. Do you like duck? Are you
That's
okay
a
with?
question for you. We don't know. That's why we're asking.
Do you like food?
Not really.
What's wrong with you?
I have seen a duck taco. Well, a picture of it. Okay, the things that I saw was an upscale, like bright green, Real Gear Robot Spy Shot 6, which is the digital camera, and it was some ridiculous knockoff. The other one, and I had to take a picture of this one, and I have to look at this picture to tell you what it even is. It's some very strange knockoff combiner in very weird colors, and it's made of Cybertron Ransack and Lugnuts as the legs. Ransack's the normal; those are normal colors, and orange Cybertron Scattershot as an arm.
Can I see this?
I cannot tell what the. Okay, the green one is the other arm is this green. It's a Cybertron figure I don't recognize. It was not in the show. Just one of those random basic figures. And then I have no clue what the heck the torso is.
Oh, one of the if the art is oddly accurate, one of them might be the old guy from Velocitron.
Oh yeah, right. There's breakdowns in there somewhere.
And one of them appears to be the small movie scout who was the little dune buggy jeep with the Gatling gun thing. I'm great with names. I saw this. Yeah,
Little brother.
yeah, little brother. Yeah. Oh God, that's old. Oh God. I saw this at a glance, and I saw the motorcycle tops. I just assumed this was a really weird, like, knockoff of Backsinger or something. Like a bunch of motorcycles just stashing up. Yo, any Backsinger crew in the house? No. All right. Well, ask me later.
The craziest thing about it is when I looked at it closely, I could like see the ridiculous mold just from clearly copying the Cybertron figures. Like
How do you spell that?
BBLEUGHCH.
But nah, take a few vowels out of there.
Oh, yeah. Canadian spelling.
It was certainly a bizarre sight. And it was $15. I almost bought it to like send it to some toy reviewer. Not you, because you would take 2 years to review it.
Yeah. 3, thank you. I had someone walk up to me today and say, hey, I just wanted to know, Studio Series Devastator review, would that be before 5 years from now or after 5 years from now? So I was like, well, the instructions for the one I got says some of them are coming out late 2020, and we're not going to be around for that. It's all a ruse, so I have no answer.
2020 is not a year. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's like some fictional science fiction thing about science. How about you? Any odd stuff you saw in the dealer room?
Honest, I was in front of voice actors, literally. Michael Horn, the guy who does the voice for Chip Chase. Somebody today, because I guess there's an episode where Chip rips up a floppy disk. Somebody brought a stack of floppy disks in front of them to sign.
I thought this was going to go in a different direction.
Okay.
This is a better direction. I thought someone was going to be standing there with their arms crossed, waiting for him to rip the floppy disk.
Come on, you did it on the show.
I have a feeling they did that they would record it.
Hey, you know, what is it? What do they call it? Content, right? Is it hard to rip a floppy disk in half? I can't remember.
Yeah. It's plastic and plastic. Maybe the big original floppy disks, and you were built. You might be able to.
That's like a phone book trick.
You'd have to be flexing it back and
You
forth
can
for a
like
while.
open it, and there is like some floppy rubbery thing inside it, right?
It was one of the old school ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the 5.5.
Yeah, but even the big 5.5, that's still a plastic sheath around the plastic disc on the inside. Oh, right, but you'd still have to you'd have to trick it beforehand to just go.
Pretty much, yeah.
So are you saying he just has that upper arm strength? Because it's always...
I didn't think we were going to have the.
I didn't expect to be the most controversial.
No, I didn't. I didn't. That's going to. That was the three-way argument across the crowd and the table that I wasn't expecting to see. The realities of ripping. I thought it was going to be over something like, I don't know. I was going to say something
It was going to be
about.
when we started throwing thieves into the crowd and people started going for blood.
I was going to say something about.
Someone find that guy, get one of his pockets, bring it here, we'll find out how hard it is to tear.
Oh, no.
My mom
There's your
still
mission.
has floppy disks. I can give it a try when I get home.
I thought I was going to just say something about NorCal, SoCal again. Why is it SoCal and not SoCal?
SoCal sounds better.
SoCal's like an ice skating thing, isn't it?
I don't know ice skating.
You're from Canada.
Yeah.
Isn't that like how you have to get around when there's not enough snow for the moose?
Sorry, I didn't know I was in Disney World. Thanks, Martin Short. You traitor.
Disney World is Florida. This is Disneyland.
That's a triple throwback. Holy crap.
Chris has a hard time telling California and Florida apart. That's
And
established-
Indiana.
That's established WTF.
Canon. It's canon. Actually, I want to quickly throw, before we start throwing things again, I want to get someone out of the crowd who shouldn't be receiving gifts because he's supposed to be up here.
Yeah, get out of the crowd. Leave.
I see someone over there on his phone. I would like him to come over here for a sec because he's someone I would welcome on this panel because he's a podcaster. This is our Aaron version 2. Oh, we're doing it! I'm so happy.
We have an exile.
When we got in here on.
You did also mention the whole bathing thing before. So.
I apologize, but that's rude.
It's all right as long as you keep distance. You know.
I'm fine over here. Hi, I'm Aaron. Nice to meet you. Thanks for bringing me out.
Yeah, no worries.
This is weird.
When we came in here on Friday and I saw the 2 sets of tables, it was my dream that we would I get to talk to someone from across this table all the way over. I didn't know that Mike was still there, so
I don't have to share a mic.
yeah. He's got your own mic. If you had like a whole setup, like potato chips, like a little TV, you could just be. Oh, you're all right.
You know, I'm happy to share if somebody wants to come on this side of the table. I mean, you guys just
He's breathing, so he's gonna be cool.
Okay. We got on the wrong
No,
pipe.
it's okay.
Yeah, it's just like wrong part.
Yeah.
He's still breathing.
Yeah, go slow. That's happened to me before.
Just don't laugh.
Yeah. That
That's
potato
right.
chip
You did
stuff,
that.
especially, or was it potato chip or was it water? Yeah,
Water.
water is oddly dangerous. You gotta be
Number one
careful.
cause of drownings. Sorry.
When I was on this panel last year, you offered me some nuts, and this I had a nut that got lodged in my throat while I was up here, and I kind of like low key. If there's a video of it, watch it because I was showing them that.
Is this something that's
Inappropriate statement.
No, I'm trying to lob some softballs. I'm not swinging
Well, what I was
Seth is just sitting there looking like, is he actually saying these words? What do I do?
what I was going to say is that I cut something out of a podcast episode recently where I was wishing Aaron safe travels, and he wished me safe travels, and then I said I actually was wishing the listeners safe travels, not you. And then he said, well, I hope you get on to, what was it?
737 Max
737 Max
just
8.
being grounded.
And I was like, that seemed a little bit soon, and then I chickened out and cut it out at the end of the podcast. That's some exclusive content for all of you. You doing all right? All right, cool. No, how dare you choke? All right, well, now you're all responsible.
Yeah.
The world's most dangerous panel.
Aaron, what do you find least funny? Minecraft, Five Nights at Freddy, or Steven Universe? Least funny.
Oh my God, Aaron poked his eye out.
Yeah, it's so weird. I went to this panel. Someone started choking, and then Aaron threw things at him.
This'll make it better.
He knocked number 6 out again. Criminal.
And then another podcaster sat down at another table and started talking about choking on things himself.
That was probably inappropriate as well.
I get a question over
Over where?
Is there a question? Yes.
Yes. I got answers, but they're little. Wait, Overlord?
Overlord body pillow.
We'll talk.
my lip said he's coming soon.
We'll talk. Aaron V2. See, I'm saying Aaron V2. Aaron V2 is. Yeah. Aaron V2 from the Auto Pod Decepticast. I almost got it wrong, and thank you for catching it. Yeah. By the way, go check that podcast out. If you were around in Chicago, I basically spent half the panel saying, so anyway, sorry, I want to interrupt everyone. Aaron, tell me more about that podcast, because I thought it was fascinating. They went through it, a minute at a time?
Yeah, minute by minute. Took about 85 episodes to talk about a 5-minute movie. And,
wow.
If you want to go deep into that movie, so and sorry, you don't have this in your question, but I'm just going to go ahead and take control here. I met Ron Friedman today. So based on that, or yesterday, I interviewed him for about a couple hours out of the pool. It was romantic. And that was a holy grail moment for me to have the opportunity to meet that gentleman. Billy's always around. Billy is imminently available, but Ron Friedman is it felt like a gift. So
that's Dilly of Flint Dilly fame.
that's okay.
He's the one who. Yeah, that's different. That's the fellow who was doing, in case you were around, was anyone here for the 5 Faces of Darkness commentary sesh? How many hours was that? I like that okay, so I like A, that no one knows, and B, that the first reaction was, oh.
I just call it 5 hours of darkness now.
Yeah. I heard it was solid. That's why I'm making fun of it, because I'm jealous. So yeah, welcome. This is very prolonged, but welcome, Aaron V2 up here. I was happy to see you in the bar, and then I was like, get on my panel. I was happy. I was all cheery and like, there's my buddy. I'm happy to see you too, Aaron.
Hi.
You still matter.
What about everyone else at this table, Chris? Do we matter?
You know.
Fishing for compliments. That's pretty sad.
I mean, the 2 people at my table are real cool. Y'all can sort the rest out. I mean, I podcast with them all the time. You know.
Not anymore.
That's all right. I'll make it work. Did you all know one time I had a podcast recording and my audio died, but everyone else's was fine? So I went through and hand dubbed myself back into the podcast in real time. and it was really fun once. And most of the responses were, "Oh, you should do this more often." And I was like, that seems like a weird reaction to this. It's better when you're not really in the room. Because it wasn't like I was being subtle. Most of the time I was going like, yeah, I think during this pause I was talking about something and it was taking way longer than I thought it would. Then he would just start talking.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, oh, I forgot Aaron cut in on me during that. Except you probably didn't. I was probably done by then. So we are now at the stage. Is there, before we throw something, does anyone have any other initial questions for us about life, Transformers, podcasting? Yeah, we do that. Oh,
Podcasting got the hands up.
you're all settled about life. Oh.
He had a life question.
We'll do the podcasting, then the life, and then we'll throw some things. Podcasting.
How are you able to continue to put out a podcast and not get burnt out?
Well, I talk off topic as much as I can get away with. That's how I do it.
I just don't tell anybody. I think part of it is that you just keep doing it and you reduce your editing workload so that it is feasible every now and then to just say, front, back, go! And you get okay with the idea that, especially if it's a weekly podcast, if one of them goes real wrong, that's fine, because you're about to do 51 more of them until that day has come around one more time. One of the worst things that will cause the most burnout is trying to over-edit your podcast a whole lot. It's the most natural thing to do because you're suddenly in control of making yourself sound smart by never saying never saying no, never, like I just did. Like I could go back and cut that out. You can cut all those things out. Then after a year, you can be like, man, podcasting's too hard. How does anyone do this? So that's kind of my own way.
But really, it's like, it's a thing that I enjoy. It's a person I enjoy talking with, people I enjoy talking with, topics I enjoy. I like that we have TCG because I enjoy this. It's finding the thing that you can continue to be happy about and share that enthusiasm about, versus if it's trying to drag on with some topic that you just don't enjoy anymore, then you're just being mean to yourself.
I like that Aaron said he likes podcasting with me.
Yeah.
It also helps when there's like a refresh in the line. It's like one movie line's in, and then Siege starts, and it's then you can have a new take on that same character. Like if you were only going to be talking about G1 Optimus Prime for 10 years straight, you would definitely want to drop your own bell and become an headmaster.
Very difficult not to say dangerous things to attempt.
It's really on topic that what you were just saying there. I just want to point that out. That was not on brand.
I tried.
Okay.
But and then when you get to something like animated, that it is all these familiar characters, but we do try to be more different. Like Prime wasn't the infallible leader; he was kind of a low tier, just group sort of a thing. That really freshens things up too.
To build on that, I would say that you do and will get burnt out, but it's on you as a creator to figure out how to get yourself out of that rut. And that's part of the creative process, right? You're trying to figure out how you switch things up, do things that you keep it interesting for yourself, make it fun for you and other people.
No, this is live.
But you don't want to do the same stuff all day long either. So, it's a weird thing to say, but part of the fun is dealing with the nuts and how you get yourself out of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you go back on our show and listen to the early episodes, the format's totally different. We break things into different groups.
50 topics.
Yeah.
What new picks?
Yeah.
Hey, everyone, pick something.
Yeah, that was rough. Because I'd get home from work just a couple minutes before we were going to be starting, and then I'm scrolling up and down the front page of TFW, just trying to find something I vaguely cared about.
You'd pick 3 things. You'd be like, yeah, this one, and I guess these other 2. And by the time it come around to you, you'd be on number 4. I don't know. A comic book came out like it does every month. Or what was the 1 hour, 48-minute, 7-second GarageBand requirement.
Oh, early on in our podcast, that version of GarageBand would not let you work with the file, no matter what you put into it. The project file had to end at 1 hour and 6 minutes or something like that. And that was a nightmare. Speaking of nightmare editing, we'll record. It'll be fine. I'll fix it in post. Now I just have to trim the podcast down to 66 minutes. That's why when people talk about, like, oh, podcasts are long, podcasts or whatever, I'm like, no, it's because they don't want to sit there trying to, like, handcraft a 60-minute experience for you that they're going to do every single week. They're just going to talk, and you're going to turn it on probably while you're in the car or in the shower or going to sleep or baking. You're going to do all kinds of things other than just sit there staring straight forward listening to the podcast. Unless, actually,
That's not how you...
I know I've talked to at least one person who says they actually do kind of, like, focus in on the podcast. So I told them they're the outlier, and I appreciate that. Because I don't know how to do that. I have my attention span for something with no visual addition is like, well, good, that's the audio. Now I can go provide my own visual. Like, I'll go and cook while I listen to the podcast with these headphones on. And before Bluetooth headphones, that was a disaster. So thank goodness for Bluetooth headphones. I'm just going to chop up these onions. Whoa! Speaking of how we like to stay all, like, switching things up and like, you know, don't stay in the same format. Not only should we start throwing things out, but I think I'm going to switch up the format slightly. I just want to...
I want to know what it's like. I can't let anyone have something for themselves. You made a horrible mistake, Chris. You left your laptop exposed.
So the web history is under preferences?
I assumed that was going to happen when I walked off.
Gotcha.
Oh, dang, it's a Mac. I have no idea how to work this.
Did you clean the internet browser?
I can see it over the word Snillo. I just learned that.
Quick, find his Amazon account.
Listen, if I was going to order an overwork volume, right, I would tell each and every person in this room. Individually or from Canada? Individually. The thing is...
Bye, Derek.
I don't want to bother ordering pillows.
Hey, do you want...
You want something? You need your thing.
We're trying to keep people here.
If he leaves, they're all going to leave. It'll be anarchy.
We've got cards still. Do you have any cards? These are the TCG.
By the way, is anyone here, if you're into TCG cards,
Take that.
oh, other TCG cards.
Yeah, there you go.
We have a lot of stuff we can give away.
Yeah, so I've been trying to lead you into that so that keep the animals happy. I mean, people, friends happy.
Hey, Eric, you
want
what
to
if
fidget spinner?
that
This. We only get one thing. It's like the dentist's office.
Hi, I'm Angel.
Okay. And you get the card.
Oh.
Gave us a stack of cards. So.
So he gets two things.
Yeah, well, but you can try to pick from all of these.
it's one thing.
No, you get one off the top for this one. You can't just pick through all of them. It's the way that Wizards of the Coast did it at Gen Con. It's the way I'm doing it.
Wait, did you say Gen Con?
Gen Con.
Gen Con? Gen Con sounds amazing. Let's go to Gen Con next
Yeah.
week.
It's a bribe. It's payment. It's
I thought it was severance. They're allowed to leave.
Oh, here.
Is he blacklight testing the card he just gave us?
He's blacklight testing the T-shirt I donated.
Everything but the column.
I hope so. I only wore one of them for about 12
Can you shine that on your own pants?
My friend is a big kind of check yourself before you leave the room. That's the service we provide here at the podcast for Roundtable. Did someone spill something on my label? I was looking away. I don't know. Thank goodness we have a big old black light for us to check all of that stuff before I go outside. It was good. So I thought we were moving into throwing stuff to people, and then you're all like, finally we're doing it. And then there's a whole thing going on with black lights over at that table. What's Are we throwing things? Can I finally throw the Steven Universe thing? I don't know where to throw it.
I'm just dive.
Velocity toss.
I'm not throwing. Does anybody really want to take it? I'm not going. I'll let you come and get this. I'm not going to wing that in the crowd.
I was hoping you would set that.
Aaron, give me a couple. How you want?
Is anyone a fan of the Suicide Squad?
I have admitted very poor arms. So.
Oh. Those don't fly very well.
We are now out of bumblebees.
There. That one's kind of heavy. I didn't want to huck it. Those get they're not. I'm not frisbeeing the cards out. No. And then if you do want cards, I'll do this more civilized. They'll come down aisles while people yammer. Yammer.
I felt I had to set an example of civility. How dare you? It was really weird. I was standing there in the crevice between the two sets of chairs, and I was looking
There are
over there.
commons, there are uncommons, there are rare, there are super
I
rare.
realized what it felt like.
You saw me shuffling, at least we're shuffling the city.
While Aaron's wandering around, is anyone out there who is doing the card game? Anyone out there getting like hot pulls? Aside from Techno getting the card on one. You got Sprayer, right? Yeah. What'd you get? Demolisher. Demolisher? Oh, you were handed that. That's a hot hand. Yeah. Yeah, you pulled Sprayer, right? Yeah. I would be jealous. That's the passion. Over there at the table, y'all, are things running okay over there?
Yes, I'm monitoring the chat very closely.
He is.
All right, how's the chat doing, Seth?
There's somebody being very disruptive.
Is it you?
No, it has a different screen name.
It's probably Miguel who's been texting me.
All right. Well, thank you for running the chat, Seth.
I think it's Vandals.
Oh, that guy.
We're about getting the limit of when they would like us to be here. We got about 6 minutes left. So, if anyone has any lingering final questions, we can take two. One from there, you can end up immediately. Did you get the toilet, Samurai? It was gone when I got there. How was it gone when you got there?
I dare you.
No, it was gone when I got there. And over at the side of the room, does anyone have any questions? Want to hand that? Okay,
So close.
you're there.
I just want to apologize about earlier.
Don't apologize. It's fine.
How dare you try to kill yourself with water by accident?
You never apologize for choking. That's what the non-choking people want you to do.
Did you fart while you were choking?
Well, then you're cool. You're cool then. You're good.
Well, that's why, like, it's pretty, part's pretty funny for it. Let's be honest. Reality. Yeah. Yeah, thank you. So I want to thank all the podcasters for coming out to this thing, especially Yoshi and Aaron, who came up after I went like, hey, could you please come up to the podcast? We have to see you and everything. We'd love to have you here.
Sorry, I didn't realize that thing I'm there at the table by myself.
Hey, Aaron. We'd love to have you on the podcast.
That's what I
Isn't it amazing how easy he goes into condescending somebody named Aaron?
Yes.
It's like a reflex.
Yeah.
And Yoshi, thanks for coming out as well.
Yes, sir.
Obviously, thanks to our fine folks from Steel City Bots and Audio Nights Theater. Woo! Did I get the podcast names right? Did I get the podcast names right?
Our podcast is called the Figure Nights Theater.
Damn it!
Our Audio Nights talking about figures.
I knew I'd get something wrong between those days, but I was trying really hard. It's how you program it. I got Steel City Construct.
I was going to do a thing where stage actually Steel City Boots, and I realized it's not that funny, and I stopped myself. It's
a look behind the curtain. That's different. I think that's solid. I also want to thank Seth for finally coming to one of these roundtable panels.
Oh, yes, thank you. I'm glad to be here. It was just us. And then we got boring, so we had to bring in more interesting people.
And as always, of course, thanks to the person who helped me the most in all these things I do from year to year. My mom, who's sitting up there. I like singling her out because she blushes.
Yeah, you're not totally turning red right now. Look, even her hair is. Look.
And also, thanks, Eric.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So thank you all for coming out to this thing. We're not going to delay this any longer. I'm sure a lot of you are hungry. And you know what we didn't do? Okay, emergency topic. Duck tacos.
Duck tacos, we almost forgot.
I just realized. The duck tacos are really good. They're at the outside bar. There's like an avocado on it. There's some beans. The duck is like really, really like lean, but it's got like a kind of barbecue-y, crisp texture on the outside. Did you have them yet?
They're gaming.
I don't know
It's duck. What? I mean, what did you? What? What? It's duck. Yes, of course, duck is gaming.
I don't prefer that flavor profile.
Those duck tacos are real. If you're able to try them out as in your dietary needs, if that's just what you're into, they're really good, like $12. It changed my life. This was duck tacos. Yeah, this is duck taco fun. Y'all over there, try the duck tacos. Thank you. Also, if you want to check out Yoshi Blacklight thing, it is chilling out there. We'll be packing up. But thank you all for coming out here. Thank you for sticking around for all of our events. You can find all of us at our various podcasts.
I saw that as I was going through all of these, and I was like, okay.
And if anybody fits an adult medium T-shirt, we have 2 of them up here that have not been created.
Oh my god, that is great.
Huh?
What do you need? Answer
Hey, have a transmission shirt.
Do I have this one? Oh, wait.
That's cool.
That's pretty cool. No, there was super rare.
Thanks, Yoshi. I don't need those eyeballs.
Yeah. They bother you for an autograph on my random manga that I have internet autographs.
Absolutely, I love signing manga.
There are, but I was saving for some nonsense downtime.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Watching your video for almost 10 years.
It's okay. I'm on the other side of the table. I can't get to you unless I like really jump behind for you.
Thank you so much.
That's great.
Thank you.
For those who are wondering, I was the one that was choking. My apologies.
Don't apologize for choking.
I didn't mean to choke. You guys made me laugh so I was choking.
So we apologize. It's our fault.
Somebody left something else.
Oh, what'd they leave up?
Somebody.
Oh. Did someone leave some comic book type stuff under a chair up front? Because there's some stuff on the floor. If you left some stuff on the floor up front. It's from the previous panel?
Yeah, that was
Oh, ignore that. That's detritus. Put the black light on it before you pick it up.
I know for something completely different. It's Monty Python's Flying Circus.
Oh.